Does the Labour Party have a massive racism problem? Keir Starmer was very quick to call millions of people racist this summer.
People displaying swastika tattoos, shouting racist slurs on our streets, Nazi salutes at the cenotaph. The cenotaph, the very place we honour those who gave their lives for this country, desecrating their memory under the pretence.
But he also grouped millions of people in with those wrongers that he mentioned there, didn't he? I think, though, he needs to look a bit closer to home, because at the weekend, this happened.
Badenoch, 53,806 votes, and Robert Jenrick, 41,388.
Yep, Kemi Badenoch, elected leader of the Tory party. Then Labour MP Dawn Butler retweeted this, OK? So there we are. That tweet says that Kemi Badenoch is white supremacy in blackface. Right. Now, she has since deleted that tweet, and the original author claimed it was satire, but still, it's a disgusting, racist thing to say, it's deeply offensive, and it's wrong. But Keir Starmer is refusing to remove the whip from Dawn Butler. Why? I suspect it's because he's too afraid of Dawn Butler calling him a racist. Fellow Labour MP Rupa Huck had the whip removed when she said that then-Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng was superficially black. Starmer then gave her the whip back. Kwasi Kwarteng was on GBNews over the weekend with Camilla Tominay, and he had this to say.
She's got form on this.
Yes.
On a personal level, I've always got on with her, but her race baiting is completely crazy.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that if Kemi had lost, she'd have said exactly the same thing.
Yes.
She'd have said, oh, of course, Kemi lost because the Tories are racist and Britain is racist. Now that she's won, she's saying it was racist. I mean, this is insanity.
I mean, it is quite insane to accuse a black person of being a white supremacist.
But in their logic, you know, they put everything through the prism of race baiting and divisiveness.
Well,
OK, I mean, I think there is a rampant double standard here. If anyone from the Tories or Reform has said anything similar, there will be wall-to-wall coverage. Labour MPs will be out in force demanding that they were sacked. In fact, that is exactly what happened with Lee Anderson over his Sadiq Khan Islamism comments. In fact, Dawn Butler herself wrote to Rishi Sunak at the time. She even used the line, "I always say that diversity is our greatest strength. I therefore urge you to take this matter seriously and to show urgent leadership and integrity on this issue." She even called for him to have the whip removed. Well, what a load of hypocritical rubbish that is. Something Tory MP Andrew Bowie pointed out.
Of course the whip should be removed. If this had been a Conservative MP retweeting a comment like that, you can only imagine the howls of opprobrium that would be coming from the other benches. The fact was that tweet was racist and Dawn Butler retweeted it. So Keir should show what he's made of and should absolutely withdraw the whip. Language like that has no place in modern political discourse in this country.
Although Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said it was clearly appalling after, may I add, claiming not to have seen the tweet initially, it does seem some left-wing politicians are all for ethnic minorities unless they're the wrong kind of ethnic minority, with the wrong kind of views. The now suspended Labour MP Zara Sultana tweeted this. There we are. She genuinely thinks that Kemi Badenoch, a woman of Nigerian heritage who was largely raised in Nigeria and came back to Britain at the age of 16, now represents the far right. It's absolute lunacy. Keir Starmer hasn't got the balls to take action against them. He's happy going after the white working class, but someone like Dawn Butler can get away with it. Let's get thoughts from my panel this evening. We are joined by the columnist at the Daily Express, Carol Malone, journalist Benjamin Butterworth, and the former chairman of the Tory party, Sir Jake Berry. Carol, has Starmer got to sack Butler here?
I think she shouldn't just be suspended. I think she should be kicked out. You know, she should have been cheering from the rooftops about this breakthrough in racial equality. Instead, she chooses to sneer at Dawn Butler. She chooses to sneer at Kemi Badenoch and call her a white supremacist. You know, what she said was the repugnant put-down of a black politician. I haven't heard anything like this from out of the mouths of anyone in the ruling party since they were elected 4 months ago. And I know she didn't say it, but she retweeted it, so she believes it. And I just think this woman is riven with bitterness. She spends her whole time talking about racism, and yet she promotes racism. She promotes division constantly. It's like she's not happy unless she's causing a ruck. But I think it's much more than that. I think she's driven by jealousy and spite, because she knows she's never going to aspire to the heights that Kemi Badenoch has, and she's tried to attack her. This woman, Badenoch, has worked through the ranks to get where she is, and all Dawn Butler can do is attack that. And as a black woman in Parliament, she said in 23 in an interview in The Guardian, she actually said black women were treated with enormous disrespect in Parliament. And what has she just done to Kemi Badenoch? And, you know, she said that she's had groups of, you know, this is Butler saying she has groups of white men telling her what to do and how to behave. And here she is doing exactly this to Kemi Badenoch. And it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
Well, I do contest that perhaps it is the Labour Party that's got a problem with race.
Yes.
Well, look, so, I mean, this is an appalling racist slur against the new leader of the Conservative Party. And, you know, Kwasi Kwarteng, who was pitched on your piece there, is absolutely right. There's no way in the world that Dawn Butler should retain the Labour whip, not least because with Rupa Huck, when she said that Kwasi was superficially black, I was the one who did the letter of complaint to Keir Starmer about it. He acted, to give him his dues, he acted very quickly. This, again, is two-tier Keir, dealing with people in different ways, you know, how he thinks they should be dealt with rather than dealing with everyone equally. But the Labour Party does have a problem with this, because if you go back not very far back to when Keir Starmer was in Jeremy Corbyn's cabinet, they had a massive issue with anti-Semitism. And leading people of the left, including Keir Starmer, were happy to sit there, say nothing, do nothing, let Jewish families across the UK live in fear. And there's a sort of intrinsic belief in the Labour Party, because they are of the left. They feel they own virtue. They don't think they can be racist or prejudiced against people's religion or, you know, their race or their sexual orientation, where in many cases, including Dawn Butler, they are appallingly racist.
Yeah.
Benjamin, Keir Starmer doesn't want to remove the whip from Dawn Butler because he's afraid that she'll tweet that he's a racist.
Well, no, I don't think that would happen. Look, the fact is that what Dawn Butler shared, she unshared very soon afterwards.
Who cares?
A bit like the lady who was sent to prison.
They were put in jail for that 4 months ago. After
they weren't put in jail.
They were put in jail for deleting a tweet, for something they'd said in a tweet.
They weren't put in jail for making a legitimate political argument about another politician.
Oh, so this is a legitimate political...
Is it?
No, it wasn't. What was posted certainly wasn't my view, and it was the reverse of what I tweeted about Kemi Badenoch. You know, I posted that seeing the first woman deliver a budget, seeing a black woman become Tory leader, and maybe a woman become the US president tomorrow, it'll be an incredible 7 days, and I hope lots of little girls are inspired from the last week. So, you know, I don't share the view.
But Dawn Butler was wrong to say it was white supremacist in blackface, or retweeting someone who did say that.
But the fact is that you will find a lot of ethnic minority people in this country agree with what Dawn Butler said. And if you believe in free speech, then they have a right to express and explain that view. A lot of people in this country feel that there are black politicians in the Conservative Party and others who don't stand up for what they experience in the country. And they are entitled to allow it.
The left... That's incredibly thick, because
can I just say as well, the left not just have a problem, so the left think they have the moral ownership of all people of colour, and they believe that if someone of colour votes left or thinks left, they're traitors, and it's just not true. They called Priti Patel a pawn of white supremacy as well. Why? She was just doing her job. The left have got a problem with racism, and they think anyone who is a Tory...
The brilliant thing about this is that you can see that Kemi is already driving the left insane. And that's why she's going to be such a brilliant political leader for the Conservative Party. Because the Labour Party just don't know how to do it. They say, oh, she's a woman. She's not the first woman to lead the Conservative Party. In fact, I think she's the fourth. She's a black woman, a very powerful, self-confident, you know, boundless self-belief black woman. And the Labour Party and the left don't know how to deal with this. And already they're having a sort of collective nervous breakdown saying, what on earth are we going to do? Because this doesn't fit with the stereotype they have of the world.
I suspect Kemi Badenoch will drive Tory MPs madder than she will the Labour Party based on what her colleagues say about her.
Should Dawn Butler lose the whip? She called for Lee Anderson to lose the whip over what he said. She wrote a letter to Rishi Sunak, who was then Prime Minister, over Lee Anderson losing the whip and being condemned and being made to apologise for what he said about Sadiq Khan. So why shouldn't she go for this?
Because two things. What Lee Anderson said was a far more serious accusation. He said Islamists have control of Sadiq Khan. That's saying terrorists have control of the Mayor of London. Now, that was an incredibly inappropriate and inflammatory claim. She's not making an accusation of criminality, which is essentially what Lee Anderson said.
White supremacist is a crime.
No, stop. Let's have that right. So if it's wrong, which it is wrong, to say that Islamists have control of Sadiq Khan, right, then surely it's wrong to say that essentially Nazis have control of Kemi Badenoch.
Well, I don't share the view, but the fact is, let's just point out.
Dawn Butler does that.
What happened is that Lee Anderson refused to apologise, and it was only after he refused to apologise that he lost the Tory whip.
Has Dawn Butler
whereas
apologised?
Dawn Butler removed the post straight away.
Right.
Has she apologised?
Well, the Tories didn't take it away.
Has she apologised?
Butler would be cheering from the rafters about this. You know, the truth is the people who voted for Kemi, they don't care what colour her skin is, which I think is amazing.
Exactly.
What they voted for is someone who they think is going to deal with the issues that affect us all, and that's the really
the
important
irony here in all of this is that people, one of the questions that no one wanted to raise, but a lot of people were thinking, a lot of people were saying behind the scenes, were, right, when this vote goes to Tory party members, are they going to elect
exactly
a black woman?
People in the shires, all of that.
Right.
What a triumph!
And it turns out, they do, because they don't care, right? They don't really care about race, they don't really care about gender. The only people who do are Labour MPs.
And they want an exciting alternative to the shocking Labour...
Well, Benjamin,
now.
should Dawn Butler apologise, yes or no?
Well, she didn't really...
Should she apologise, yes or no?
She retweeted.
Well, she should explain herself, yeah.
So yes, she should apologise.
Just because you're in a minority doesn't mean you stand up for that group.
Why would...
The Jewish people that go on the Palestine marches, they don't represent or stand up for the other Jewish people.
Deal with
you
this
don't
issue.
make that accusation.
Deal with this issue.
Why is it inappropriate?
But Benjamin, you said that...
This is a black woman
doesn't mean she stands up for black people.
Woman on a black woman, and it's shocking and it's shameful. She should be glad for it.
They're not a homogenous group, Carol. They can have different opinions.
But Benjamin...
Oh, can they? Oh, right. So why did the left think that anyone who was in the right of politics, who was got a brown or black skin colour, is a traitor? Why do they believe that?
I think a lot of
they believe everyone should have the same group thing.
A lot of recent immigrants in this country would say there's a special place in hell for someone who's the product of an immigrant that doesn't stand up for other people who face those prejudices. But I think it is shocking.
So you say that Kemi doesn't?
I mean, people like Priti Patel that stir, and Suella Braverman that stir anti-immigrant rhetoric, despite the fact that they have benefited from being welcomed into this country.
Racist
that
rhetoric.
is a problem.
What Dawn Butler to stir up racist rhetoric? This is racism in its purest form. Absolutely.
So Benjamin, just to go back on the racist views of Dawn Butler, you said that Lee Anderson lost the whip because he didn't apologise. Dawn Butler hasn't apologised. She should lose the whip. Rishi Sunak, for all his faults, and they were legion, at least had the strength to say to Lee Anderson, there is no room for racism in the Conservative Party. Why won't Keir Starmer do the same?
Well, if Dawn Butler should apologise, then, she can go ahead and explain herself. But
do you think she should, though?
Explaining herself is the same thing as apologising.
Should she not?
Well, we don't know whether she endorsed the comment in the first place.
Well, she did.
A retweet doesn't necessarily mean you share it.
Oh, come on. She's dancing on the head of a pin here.
You're really clutching.
Look, we're all for balance here. I must say, the mental gymnastics that you are doing here, you should probably win some kind of award. All right, well, look, hey, Dawn Butler will no doubt say she is not a racist. I think that, there are questions to answer, though, aren't there? When you tweet something like that or retweet something like that.